Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's that time again, folks. Time for the world famous motion picture Retribution Power Hour, presented to you by the illustrious Evening Brothers. Take it away, band.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Jam Sesh, the podcast where we interview the world's greatest SoundCloud musicians over a plate of whole grain toast and a playful herbal tea. I am Zazzy John.
And I'm Luscious Lincoln. And today, Jazzy John and Luscious Lincoln are interviewing Prison Time Preston, who is just making a huge impression on the post-2020 gangsta, ironically using the slang term gangsta rap scene.
Yeah.
Prison Time Preston. Given that you are only...
Mr. Time.
You can call me P-Time Preston if that makes it easier.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. P-Time, if I can call you that.
Can I call you PTP?
Can you just tell us what inspires...
It's P-Time Preston or nothing.
Okay, P-Time Preston. What motivates you to come up with such hard beats and soft bars?
Oh, he's dying. It's actually good. I've got there's apparently an apocalypse happening outside my window, so we're just gonna wait this one out.
wait this little laugh and fit out. You know, a lot of our guests also soil themselves during our recording sessions, so you're
it's
really
actually
not alone, P-Time.
Yeah, it's mandatory actually. Mr. Patime, can I ask you a question? Because I can see why you wouldn't want to answer Lincoln's dumbass choices that he makes. What is your you signed up for SoundCloud? Let me just check my notes. Yeah, you signed up for SoundCloud under Piss Boy Preston. What was the change that happened there that made you feel...
Yeah, like walk us from Piss Boy to P-Time, please.
Yeah. From Piss Boy to P-Time, an American Tale.
And then I got arrested one too many times for public urination, and then it was prison time.
Sure.
It was all, I see. Oh. What did you learn while you were serving prison time?
Guys, this is not the way that we're going to start this.
This is, though. It's what we're doing. Welcome to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour.
Also, this is my movie, so I get to start it.
I'm sorry. Welcome to Dog Shit Nothing, then. Go ahead, Preston. Go ahead, Piss Boy.
Welcome to bonus content. Or say goodbye to bonus content. You said that
you had a good opener, and I had very high expectations.
And I lived up to them.
And you went so low that I don't think the bar was in the same plane of existence that you were on.
Okay, fine. Go, Piss Boy. Go.
I agree.
So with that, welcome back to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour, presented by the illustrious Evening Brothers, the only podcast on the internet where three guys get together and talk about movies. I am Brother Preston.
I am Brother Lincoln, and you know what? I needed that. That was a centering moment for me. I kind of forgot what our podcast was about because we spent so much time introducing other podcasts as our intro. And hearing just a clean read of the intro to the podcast was very purposeful. It felt authoritative.
You really committed to the bit a little too hard there, Lincoln. I felt like I had to bring us back just a little bit.
And
thank you.
That does make me Brother John. And I also feel a little bit. I was sad at first when you guys told me I was stupid and bad at podcasting, but I gotta say the relief of not having to think about music related questions it's so nice.
Hey, John, I got a degree in music, and I could not think of a music-related question to save my life.
I just liked Jam Sesh. That was kind of the only thing I wanted.
Well, next time, when you have an idea like that there's channels for that. There's a channel called #General in our Discord that you can just throw that little idea on out, and we will both add a reaction emoji to it, and then forget that you texted us.
That seems like more where that should have gone. So Preston, you made us. What'd you do to us?
So I forced you guys to watch R.I.P.D. The Rest in Peace Department.
That's right. We're getting ripped
Jeff
today,
Bridges
friends.
And Ryan Reynolds. You what?
I said we're getting ripped. We're getting RIPDDB.B.P.R.D.
Oh, we are getting ripped. Is that our... No, that can't be the title. It's
starring...
too soon for that.
starring
I
Ryan
just said that,
Reynolds as
Lincoln.
himself, and starring Jeff Bridges as Tommy Lee Jones as Jeff Bridges, and finally starring Kevin Bacon as Mark Wahlberg.
We should just get this off the plate right now. This is like a very bad Men in Black.
Oh
Yeah.
Went for the
Yeah.
whole
Here's-
acronym as the title.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that.
What's funny is the acronym's actually better for this than MIB.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is. And it rolls off the tongue really well. R.I.P.D.
Rest in Peace Department.
And
Here's
unfortunately, the rest of the movie just does not roll very well at all.
The thing about that is that
It's
you're
like a triangular wheel.
you're wrong.
yeah, I was thinking more like a brick that you are just kind of pushing up an incline is the experience of watching this movie.
I would argue that a brick would roll easier than a triangle.
Both of them would roll easier than this movie, I'll tell you that.
You guys, it's like an AI wrote this podcast because it's the same as all the other ones. I love this movie so fucking much, and I'm gonna convince you that you're wrong and that it's a great movie and you should also love it.
No.
But
I
here's
am
the thing.
so transparent.
I really enjoy the first, like, 25% of the movie.
Exactly.
And then an additional,
100%.
like, 5% spread
Spread
through the rest of
throughout. Yeah.
it. Yeah. Like it starts off, like,
So
kind of
solid.
strong and, like, kind of good. Mm-hmm. And, like, just, like, the right amount of, like, off-the-rails ridiculousness.
Yeah,
And then
and it stays
just the
good.
more screen time that Kevin's Bacon character has,
It just keeps-
it's just the more
No.
downhill it
Wait.
gets.
Keeps being
Wait. No,
good.
Preston. I'm against you now because Kevin Bacon is the most magnetic part of this whole film. Him taking the role 100% seriously, while Jeff Bridges could not give a single shit about what was going on. And
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is like actively dying. Like there is every time his arm is out of shot, they are drawing blood out of his veins. He is so tired. And here's Kevin Bacon giving the straightest performance you've ever seen in your life. It's too good. You cannot slander
I'm not
Kevin Bacon in this film.
that Kevin did not do a good job. I'm just saying that there's a graph here, right?
Yeah.
That as runtime and Kevin Bacon increases, quality decreases.
Okay, but you must have missed that part where his head split open like a walnut because that was
And it split right down his hairline.
yeah, just like my
Right after he, you know what? We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Lincoln.
We'll
You
get to that later.
You touched on this. I just want to. I want to Lincoln. You touched on this for a second, and we need to address also off the bat. Jeff Bridges did not read the same line twice for this movie. I fucking believe that with
No,
all
he
my
didn't.
entire heart. He did.
I don't even know if he read the line once. I think he just went with what his heart told him.
He said some stuff, and he was like, "Did we make a movie? All right, cool. I'm gonna go think about The Big Lebowski more."
It sounds like he, every time right before they're about to roll the camera, he would just like grab a handful of marbles and like stuff them into his cheeks and then be like, this is what Tommy Lee Jones did, right? And then they're like, yeah, Jeff. And he's like, I'm still collecting my $30 million check, right? And they're like, uh-huh. And then after every scene, he'd swallow every single marble. It was horrifying.
It was the worst.
It was horrifying.
But he kept saying, I need this to function, like a bird eats stones. I need it to process all my meats and veggies and whatnot.
Oh, my meat, because I'm a cowboy.
Which I thought
I
was
refuse to
strange.
believe that he did not take that costume off once throughout the entire production of this movie.
Have we seen him since? Are we sure he ever took it off? Like, does he still just
He
wander
might
the
still
streets?
have it on. He's been wearing a lot of baggy clothes recently. Maybe he's just got
His-
an underlayer
His
of
cowboy
Jeff Bridges'
outfits under
cowboy
it.
costume.
He's just waiting for somebody to be, hey, you want to be a cowboy again? Oh, rips his shirt away.
Superman.
Absolutely, I'm ready
Disintegrates.
right
It just
now.
disintegrates underneath him because it's been dissolving in his sweat for so long. Okay, Preston, tell us what happens
So
in
what-
this godforsaken movie.
Lincoln, you know what, Lincoln? If you,
And I mean
if
that
both
so
of you
literally.
will
In the
shut
universe of
the
this movie,
fuck up
there
and
is
give
no
me
God.
2 seconds of time to talk, I will move this thing along. I know how this works.
Okay, you got me there. Okay, continue.
Play through.
I'm allowed to. I can continue now? Okay, thank you.
Well, all I'm
so
saying
here's
is
what
it's not
happens
like
in
Ryan
this-
Reynolds was worse in this than he was in Blade Trinity. Like, he's more interested in this one than he is in Blade Trinity. You know?
But not by much.
But
Not
a little.
by much.
But by a
Not
little.
by much.
And way more than he is in Red Notice later on. Like, he cares more about this for sure.
Yeah, this
Ooh,
was
Red Notice. Oh man.
okay.
Ooh.
I'm
That-
so sorry.
That's bad even by our standards.
Oh, okay.
Here's
I
what
thought
happens
you had
in
a
this
hot
movie.
take there. I was sorry. I was
Garbage?
extremely scared that you were going to be like, oh, I don't know, Red Notice. I really dug that one. That was a good one to me.
No.
Like, we've just agreed on this podcast.
So in
we
this
can't.
movie, we open with Ryan Reynolds burying some gold that apparently he stole from evidence. He's a cop, along with his buddy Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon decides that because Ryan feels bad. What, Lincoln?
No, I thought this is how this podcast worked. When we got to a point that we want to talk about, we could talk about it.
Go for it.
This is a thought I have about the scene that you're talking about, Preston.
Proceed. My apologies.
I'm playing in the space. I want to address how good that action scene was. Right before he gets hit and then shot in the
action
face.
scene's great.
It's fun. It's got all
It
those
is.
low
It is
angles,
fun.
and then it whips around corners, and there's all these fun like crash zooms, and there's these fun like these whip pans all over, and it's like it's done with this panache that's almost, it's not Edgar Wright levels of coordination, but it's kind of gesturing towards that, and you feel it. You're like, this is kind of fun. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So sorry, I just had to acknowledge that this.
No, you're not.
That
You're
scene,
right. You're right.
The warehouse scene where they're doing a drug bust and running through the warehouse and everything's exploding is the best action set piece of the whole movie by such a wide margin. And
Not
I
even close.
have no idea why they put it in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
And it's so sad because every other action scene should be so much cooler and better, and it's not.
Yeah, this should feel like the boring Earth action sequence, and then later we do some crazy stuff. Where this is like the fun, exciting, energetic one, and later it's like, oh, yeah, cool, that guy's big, and he's on the building. Okay, well.
Oh, now it's a fight on the rooftop. There's a big sign. Okay, sorry, Preston.
So
I know,
Ryan
not
Reynolds,
sorry.
Yeah.
And because Ryan feels bad about stealing the gold, Kevin decides to shoot him in the face and kills him. And then we have a whole sequence of, I guess his name is Nick. Ryan.
We're not
going
to call him
That's
Nick.
just easier.
Yeah.
His name is Ryan Reynolds.
I would accept Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds. We have a whole scene of him walking around in slow motion and then suddenly getting sucked into a hole into the sky.
Is this the grossest thing you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah, I did.
It's not great.
I wrote a note here that it just says floaty anus of souls.
I just wrote gross. All mine says is gross.
I'm not gonna
Because
lie.
seeing that mass of human suffering getting drawn into this like sandworm
Yeah.
it hits a gross part of my brain that I didn't know existed. It hits a disgust response that had previously never had to be used by human brains before. We're not evolutionarily prepared for that kind of disgusting.
This movie does hit that exact emotional range. The difference is, Lincoln, I am wildly familiar with that feeling, and I do love it and crave it. So now that you've had your first hit, get ready to watch, things like From Beyond and some of the later Evil Dead movies. Just get ready to really enjoy yourself some schlocky bad nonsense.
We know how you feel about Hellboy. Like, there was no surprise that you would love this movie.
Oh, yeah, no, this is just more Hellboy. To the point where I almost keep calling this BPRD. Like, the number of times I've almost said that already, it's probably going to happen. So, anyway, Preston, you were saying he gets into the anus of souls and he goes into the pre-TVA.
The pre-VA.
The pre-VA.
The pre-VA.
Also the Men in Black.
The pre-VA.
Also the BRPD. Also the Ghostbusters headquarters. Also the Good Place. It's everything. It's every. It's also the library in Constantine. It's also Blade Runner.
Is. Yeah.
Not Blade Runner. Well, it is kind of Blade Runner. It's also Blade.
Sure. It's the same feeling. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, he gets taken into the pre-VD.
Nope. None of that was.
Yep. He
none of that
appears
was right.
in the
Guys,
Pre-VD is my favorite video playback medium. Like, a lot of people like Blu-rays. I'm for the pre-VDs
I think
that they made in the 70s.
I think pre-VD might be an STD that you don't really want to involve yourself with.
I was about to say, yeah, that sounds like a
Dude, I got pre-VD. I'm on a fast track to VD now.
To regular, normal, current VD.
Hopefully I'll get to post-VD before the end of the month.
God, imagine if I got future VD. From space and time and whatnot.
Oh, boy. I'd rather have that than watch this movie.
Did you guys know that 1 in 5 people who watch Back to the Future get future VD? Isn't that interesting? They just catch it from watching Back to the Future. 3. The one with the train. The train gives them the sex disease. Preston, please save me from myself. Let's continue.
No, I'm gonna let you keep digging there, bud. He gets pulled into the pre-VD. He meets Proctor, who is, I guess, the chief, the woman in charge.
Sure.
Besides the people, like what do they say? The upstairs, the people upstairs.
Yeah,
the Eternals. She calls them the Eternals.
Eternal Affairs, which first of all is a fantastic pun.
It's good.
It's very good.
This movie has its moments.
It's all moments, just
more of them than you would expect.
Yeah, it's all of the minutes is the
brief
moments.
Glimpses of brilliance.
Yeah, throughout the whole hour and 20
Who tells him
minutes.
that he's dead, and now he gets to spend 100 years policing dead souls who escape from the anus. And then they'll send him back or something.
Just don't.
It's not super clear.
Let's
what
don't.
happens.
Hey, as a team, can we
he
agree not to
meets,
say escape from the anus again? Is that possible? Can we?
John, you would make us watch a movie called Escape from the Anus.
I would if it existed.
Here's the thing, John. If Lincoln had said "escape from the anus," you two would have gone off and done a whole bit about it. So why
Hey,
can't I say?
Preston, you're not wrong. I am sorry. You know what, boys? This episode so far has a kind of hateful energy that I don't think we want to lead into.
No, I think we really need to lean into it.
Okay.
He meets Roy, Jeff Bridges' character, who I guess was a lawman from the Wild West.
Okay, this is the next point that I want to make. And firstly, I want to acknowledge that just rewriting a movie is not real criticism of the movie.
Right.
But that being said, when they showed that shot of historical cops from all the different eras working together, I was like, boy, this is going to be where Ryan Reynolds is from a modern cop movie and Jeff Bridges is from an old-timey Western, and there's also going to be someone who's like a noir detective, and there's going to be someone who's like a 70s like beat cop, and there's one who's going to be a constable and kind of have a Sherlock Holmes energy.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. I was so excited for like genre pastiches colliding against each other in this timeless future police department. And I was so disappointed when I heard Jeff Bridges open his mouth.
And it barely happens. Yeah, I had the same thought. I actually had the thought, is it like, because I know getting a Nice Guys sequel is almost impossible. Is it possible to get another R.I.P.D. but just starring Ryan Gosling and whatever that other cat's name is?
Russell Crowe? Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe, thanks. The Crow himself from the new movie The Crow.
Oh, I didn't know that's what it was about. That's cool.
Is it? Yeah.
Maybe I'll actually watch it.
Yeah, it's just about Russell Crowe. It's a biopic. Anyway, is it possible to get them to come back and just do an R.I.P.D. but doing the same characters? They're just dead now.
And directed by Shane Black, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
May I interrupt the podcast for a second?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Okay, and they'll only hear you if you talk into the mic right here, but you can hear them right now.
Hello,
Hi.
it's Lincoln. I've heard
This is Catherine.
a lot about you.
A cameo.
Surprise guest.
Anyways, I just wanted you to see her and know that she's real.
Yeah, she exists. At Lincoln, we're all a little surprised. I'm speechless
we're shocked,
here.
Honestly. I don't know what to
Yeah,
say
it
right
took
now.
a while for us to actually get a photo together, so I don't think anybody in my life actually believed that he existed.
I am begging you to get a cardboard cutout of Lincoln and bring it to your family. That would be everything for me.
Please. And if you could send pictures to us, that would be awesome.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I could use a cardboard cutout of Lincoln as well if you're just throwing them around.
Yeah, well,
We'll just pass it around.
While you're at Costco.
We can have the cardboard cutout on a 3-week rotation. Everybody gets a turn.
Yes. It's perfect.
Shit there.
That's great.
Joint custody of Lincoln's
I-
cardboard cutout.
I get Cardboard Lincoln on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Ooh, that doesn't quite work with my schedule, but we can make it work.
Shoot. Okay.
Well, and it's going to spend so long shipping to you, John, that has to cut into your
Oh,
time.
yeah, that's true. Well, it could cut.
I'm-
Hey,
it's not
it
cutting
could
into
cut
my
into
time.
everybody's time with Cardboard Lincoln.
We divide the cardboard Lincoln in half to
Yeah.
see who really cares about him the most.
Yeah.
The wisdom of Solomon.
I mean, no, wait, I read that story. Don't do it. I want, somebody should, did I do it? Am I smart?
Yes.
Dibs
You
on
ha-
the knees down.
You have
Gross.
proven that you love him the most.
Yes. I'm the true cardboard dad.
Give us your impression of Rest in Peace Department.
Sorry.
And get, like, right up. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow,
great. That's
I've
great.
never cameoed on a podcast before. Big day.
It's a big day.
It was definitely better than I expected it to be. It had some moments that hit, had some moments that made me feel. It was a movie that made me feel things. Many
Yes.
things. A lot of things at the same time. Some good, mostly bad. Some very bad.
That's what we aim for. You know, we cinema should make you feel.
Yeah, overall positive experience, except for the end.
Yeah.
The best part.
I pretty much agree with that.
The
Yeah,
good
it was a
bit.
movie that I'm glad that I watched with somebody else. I would have felt very sad about myself watching it alone.
As someone who has watched this movie by himself a couple of times before seeing this, it was sad.
Yeah.
It was sad every time.
Yeah, see, I'm glad I'm not that. that was not. Okay, cool. Well, good to meet you guys.
Good to meet you too. Thanks
to
for
meet you as well.
being on the podcast. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Sorry Lincoln does
Thank
this.
you for having me.
Sorry
Yeah.
to drag you into
How
our
much
bullshit.
of a red flag was this?
I don't know. I feel like I've heard so much about it that it's kind of surreal to actually be here and to
Yeah.
be speaking face to face.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the podcast. Sad to say. Something
That's fair.
about
No-
Retribution.
None of us do either.
Nobody else does either. So.
Yeah.
Our listeners don't even know the name.
We do not have listeners, Preston.
Okay, back to a regular podcast. He's in the R.I.P.D. He's learning the ropes. It's not gonna be a genre mashup, which is extremely sad. As Jonathan said, The Nice Guys is such a good example of that kind of genre mashup done really well, and this one is not that. It has Jeff Bridges. I want to hear from Preston because this is your movie. Was Jeff Bridges' performance the reason you made us choose this movie?
A little bit. I think generally you know what? No, actually, you know what? A little bit, yes. Because there's one scene in particular where it's right. We're jumping ahead a little bit, but that's fine. It's my episode. I can do what I want.
It's the accordion, right? It's the accordion bit.
Oh,
It
I
is
love
not.
the
It's
accordion
not
bit.
It's not
That was
the
my
accordion
second favorite
bit.
part
Although
of the movie.
the accordion bit's pretty good. It's they do a whole scene where they're fighting their way out of R.I.P.D. After R.I.P.D. gets blown up, they have to fight their way to the skyscraper, to the MacGuffin, to close the soul anus. I'm not going to say what I was just about to say.
Whoa, no, now you have to.
Yeah.
And they're fighting their way to it. And Jeff Bridges does a great little bit where he's like, let's teach you something about old West gunfighting. And then he does like a little bit of like a Zombieland bit of like, here's rule number 1. Church steeple, first place I'm gonna look. And it like sets it up as like such a great scene. And there's all of like 30 seconds of a great scene, and then it just immediately falls flat on its face and turns into absolutely nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's really that setup and payoff that I think really just describes this entire movie of having a great setup, really, really cool, like making moves towards something really cool, and then it just falls flat on its face.
Yeah, that
And
scene.
I just love that specific scene, and that's why I wanted to make you guys watch this movie.
That scene is.
Speaking of great setup and little to no payoff, or John, do you want to talk about the scene before we?
It's fine.
When they talk about when Ryan Reynolds' character, he's part of the R.I.P.D. He's dead. He's back on Earth. He tries to go visit his wife. She doesn't recognize him. This would be in a movie of low quality but general competence. where he looks down and there's a convenient puddle, right? And he sees his reflection. But this one, instead of, showing us, they tell us. They say, you got to disguise. You're Poe's dad from Kung Fu Panda.
Sure.
That actor.
Yeah.
And then they show Jeff Bridges, and he is like a beautiful woman. And I saw that, and I thought, there's no way in hell this is ever going to pay off. And credit where credit's due, it does keep coming back, but does it ever pay off?
Yes.
No,
It
does not.
Because he becomes
When?
He becomes a young girl later, and that's not creepy at all. Don't worry about that.
It would be a much funnier bit if every time Jeff Bridges' character was on screen, it wasn't just like blatant sexism.
There is that.
That would be
Although
nice.
I will say there is kind of a funny running gag where he gets catcalled, but it's you see Jeff Bridges and people are just whistling at him. That's pretty fucking
Yeah, that is kind of
funny.
funny. And
that part of it-
when it's
that-
Jeff
that
Bridges
part of
saying
it's
like,
kinda funny.
when it's Jeff Bridges saying, "I am a woman, not some piece of meat for you to gaze at," it was very good.
That's true.
You
That
guys,
was my third favorite part of the movie.
This is my silver bullet for why this movie is incredible, because like I said, I have seen this movie before and I vehemently hated it. Like I thought it was the worst thing ever. And then I watched it this time with my wife, and she was the first one to be like, you know what? I kind of dig this. And that was when I was able to turn my I need to be hating this movie off and turn on like okay, maybe I can just enjoy it. And once you do that, you start seeing this is the silliest movie I have ever seen, and it knows that.
I do love how silly
because
it
it's
is.
making
Yeah.
it's a series of the bounciest people you can possibly imagine, just throwing themselves against cars and walls and making cute little Looney Tunes sound effects, doing everything they do. It's such a ridiculously like whimsical little movie about death and hell and the anus of souls, and I love this movie so much.
It is, admittedly, it is pretty funny that they only use one sound cue every time they depict a man being attracted to Jeff Bridges' woman disguise, and
Yeah.
it's "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye. And it's
also-
only the first like 8 seconds of it.
There's also a wonderful moment where Jeff Bridges shoots somebody. I think it's the first guy that we see him shoot, and he does this. The physical motion that he does with his gun is he just kind of shifts it backward in his hand and puts it in his holster. But the sound effect is like he spun it around, but he
doesn't
at all.
It's like a Kuleshov effect test where they're like, you will hear the spinning and you will see the spinning, even though no spinning is present.
You will imagine that Jeff Bridges was able to spin it like we said in the script that he would. There's even like his little badge. Anytime he brings it out, it makes a little whip sound effect.
That is pretty good.
I love it so much.
The whip sounds pretty good when he flips open his
so
ID.
good.
The weakness of this is that it's the most whimsical movie with the most like playing himself winking at the camera actor ever.
That is the problem.
If it had a lead that was 1%, 3% more interested in the role and more invested in the story, say a Joseph Gordon-Levitt, say a
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell,
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
Oh, he would have been great.
any other Ryan Gosling, as already mentioned,
He would have been wonderful.
like
Ryan
Chris Pine.
Seacrest.
There's so many people. Ryan Seacrest, for crying out loud. There's
for Ryan out loud.
for Ryan out loud, there is Ryan Reynolds cares so little about the story that it just drags everything down to his level every time he's in frame.
It's true. It is true. That I
And
will
meanwhile,
give you that. Yeah.
Kevin Bacon is putting in the work the whole time. Kevin Bacon putting in the work
Kevin Bacon carrying this movie
on his stupid pointy back.
his ridiculous shoulders.
With his weird. Have you ever? This is the first movie I've seen Kevin Bacon in, and I'm like, not the first movie I've ever seen Kevin Bacon. The first Kevin Bacon movie that I've understood why people think he's attractive.
Was this?
Every other Kevin Bacon role, I think this is a weird like bush man. This is a man whose head is disguised as the top of a bush who's hiding behind said bush and he's gonna pop out and go booga booga booga, but he doesn't in this movie.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't have any follow up to that. I really felt Kevin Bacon's presence in this film, and it was a positive contribution.
Do you guys remember that time that this movie was like, all the bad stuff in the world is like exclusively due to souls that don't want to leave this plane of existence, and that means it's okay to like not worry about any of the implications that we're doing of anything we're doing, or like if you think the police system is corrupt.
I believe the line was global warming, black plague, bad cell reception.
Yeah, it's like everything that sucks is just that. Don't worry about it. That justifies everything we might do. All the people that die because we're shooting a bunch of random ghouls. Don't worry about that. That's fine. These guys are decrepit ass weird old souls.
I think we've talked about this, on this podcast before, but it's so uncomfortable when there's an allegory. So we have cops in this, but it's like, don't worry. In this world, all the bad guys really do deserve it. Don't worry, in this world, all the bad guys really are up to no good. The cops are always right in this universe. It's always okay to use lethal force. It's always okay to escalate in this world.
Except that's the problem. That's the problem with this movie is like, no, don't worry. All the good guys are cops and all the bad guys are also cops. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure. But don't think about that. This guy's a cowboy. Woohoo! He's a racist, right? I know the movie like vaguely sort of hints at that. Like it plays around with the idea that he's got
with the ethnic slurs being spoken.
Well,
You're talking about Jeff Bridges, right? I'm
talking about Jeff Bridges, yeah. And I'm saying that the movie is just vaguely passes at like, oh, well, he's from a different time. But like this guy with the character that we are presented, the base idea of the character, he is saying some words that don't make it into a PG-13 film for sure. Like, this is not a good man.
Yeah.
This is not a man who doesn't racially profile a bunch of ghosts.
We've cut around a lot of R-rated ethnic-related material in this film. Although while you're talking about racism and this old guy who died in 1800, I do really like when Ryan Reynolds says, "Oh, you just want to be a rebel?" And then then Jeff Bridges says, "I fought for the North." I thought that was a very good line.
Yeah, that was good.
There's a couple times that this movie got me when he says his name is Roy Cephas, and then he says, "You can call me Roy or Cephas."
That is good.
Where are we? Where are we in the story, Preston?
Where are we at?
He's at the R.I.P.D. He's trying to figure things out, reveals himself to his wife, who doesn't recognize him because he's a old Chinese guy on Earth. Oh, man. I mean, they find some gold. They decide to investigate it more.
I mean, it's not just some gold. It's a forgotten plot from one of the Night at the Museum movies, right? Like it's a sequel to Night at the Museum that was never made.
There we go. They got the prop for really, really cheap.
Yeah. Oh boy. And you can see that it was cheap.
Yeah.
Does not have the same luster as real gold.
So bad.
It kind of looks like
and just the way that it's like broken and gets reassembled. Like, why is there a giant X in the middle?
It's a good question.
Why? Here's a question. It seemed like they were chasing after...
Why is there a little Blade-esque, like, spinning ball of blood?
It's also a good question. Why did we not put Ryan Reynolds and or Jeff Bridges into a big, like, shell packaging like he's a toy like they did in Blade? Because that would have really added to this movie for me.
Maybe that's the biggest problem with this movie is... They didn't go quite far enough with some of this stuff.
I think that's what it is. It needs, like, the movie tries its very damnedest to be whimsical as hell, but what it needs to do is just be a little bit more zany.
Irreverent.
It needs to have something that...
shit crazy.
Yeah, some stuff that you're like, okay, movie, we're doing it.
Yeah. And this is also a movie, it's like, it's constantly driving back and forth between... crazy wild and then like this like heady drama that they're trying to impose on you of Ryan Reynolds trying to connect back with his wife.
Yeah.
Did you notice in this movie that the scenes where there were creative camera work, no story took place in those scenes?
Oh, that's interesting.
All the scenes with creative camera work had no story, and all the scenes with story had no creative camera work. It was a clean separation. Every time the camera was lifted off of the tripod, the plot ground to a halt for some cool thing to happen, and then the camera was mounted back on the plate, and you saw it like jiggle as it got clicked in, and then the story resumed. Like that scene where Kevin Bacon takes off his talisman and the whole house like rots because of all the dead energy.
It's so good.
So rad. So like, hey, this is the first time in the whole movie that we have shown something and not told it. First
so
time.
fucking cool.
This is excellent. This is so cool. But that's the only thing that happens. The house just grinds to a halt, and then they look around, and then it cuts back, and the story continues.
And then it's like, anyway. It's like it's a musical.
Anyway, back to shot, reverse shot.
It's like a musical, but instead of musical scenes, it's just like cool stuff that happens.
Yeah, it's like a script, and then it just says in parentheses, like, cool stuff happens. And then the actors are asked to improvise cool things for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it says cool stuff ends, and then it goes back into the script.
This feels like a good time because we'll need to get back into the movie at some point. But I do want to just take a second. Lincoln, could you hit us with that sweet, sweet theme song?
Find your funny, because maybe now the podcast will be good.
Gets better every time. So we didn't really prep a good one for this one, but I did find something that you guys, I'm so happy about. I have discovered, and I'm going to send you a little linky poo if you don't mind in the Discord chat here. I've discovered.
Hey, that's what my girlfriend calls me.
I've discovered JeffBridges.com.
JeffBridges.com.
And this is his personal website.
I'm going to JeffBridges.com.
And I am going to need you to
cursive.
Take a little visit to JeffBridges.com.
Okay, so I'm watching like a cursive thing.
Yeah,
and if I scroll, it resets.
I'm going to take you on a little guide, if you don't mind. So click on the little cursive thing. And that's going to take you...
Okay, and now I'm at a place that says menu.
Right.
And it says latest, the greater good, ending hunger, stuff,
yeah,
music,
right,
links,
yes,
photography, filmography, sleep club.
There's one.
Press.
Yeah.
Books, and I don't even know what to type first. I'm in a world of pure imagination right now.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. I'm going to need you to click on the nipple that says stuff, because that's the one we're really spending some time on today.
Yes.
But I have no doubt that you'll enjoy
stuff.
this website for years to come. So click on stuff.
Some doodles.
And you'll notice some of Jeff Bridges' classic doodles.
Look, street
I just want you to enjoy these for a second.
Wait! He drew a picture of himself from Surf's Up. He drew a picture of his own character from Surf's Up as a penguin.
Did you?
This is too much. Can I buy it? Where's the buy now?
I need to buy it. Did you notice
Where is it?
what's just
How
past
can I buy
that? What did you notice what's just past him from Surf's Up? And it's just some balls, and it says testicle attack. Have a little face.
Yes, I see it. What's going on? Does he make a little drawing for every movie he's in? Because there's a Tron one. There's a Tron one!
Guys!
And if you click on it, click on the Tron one.
Click on the
Tron
attack.
one.
Oh, I'm clicking on
Testicle attack.
Definitely clicking on testicle attack. What do we have?
Woman jailed for testicle
Loading.
attack. It's a BBC
Loading.
News article. What? Jeff Bridges, you are my favorite man in the whole world. It's a news article. It's a news article about a testicle attack.
Oh, from 2005.
Oh boy, we got it.
Oh man. Oh gee, yeah. Okay,
This is the best thing I've ever.
Here's some stuff. We won't
I'm
read the
gonna
whole news
bookmark
article.
Jeff Bridges.
I'm not sure what the legality of reading the entire article is, but I will say, woman jailed for testicle attack, and then the next thing that's bolded is quote pulled hard.
Oh boy. Oh wow. Jeff Bridges, my man. Okay, I changed my mind. I love R.I.P.D. Jeff Bridges can do whatever he wants. Also, you guys have to click on Tron.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's take a little peek at Tron. What do we got?
Because it directs you to a HTML website.
Oh, loving the Web 2.0 happening here.
This is so good.
Oh,
this is
what
actually
does this mean?
the best way to experience the internet. This is amazing.
So
Jeff
good.
Bridges, you do not disappoint. This is
Oh, You
Oh, this is
brilliant
astounding.
bastard. Jeff Bridges, I love you.
Beautiful boy.
Oh.
I'm literally bookmarking. I'm pinning his tab right now.
So
Oh,
beautiful.
wow. Guys,
I
Oh,
aspire to one day have the audacity to make a website like this.
This is
The audacity,
best website.
the ego.
This is the
Just-
best website I've ever seen in my life. Jeff Bridges.
this is, I 100% agree. JeffBridges.com, what a place.
JeffBridges.com.
Dude, guys, do yourselves a favor. Do yourselves a favor and visit JeffBridges.com and you will not be disappointed.
Okay, here's the problem.
Oh, wow.
I've introduced us to this for Find Your Funny, and I don't know if I can keep doing the podcast and not look at JeffBridges.com.
I know, that was only stuff.
That was
I haven't
just
seen the latest.
There's so many.
Guys, go
There's
look at
so
his
many
photography.
tabs. Okay, all right. What am I looking at? Wait, okay. Photography. It's not photography, but maybe it will be. Imprints. These are all hand drawn. Oh, here we go. Prints available from Volume 1. Oh, wow. Lincoln, this is stuff you would do. This is the stuff you would make.
Photography?
Guys,
Underneath the hey, check
he
it out,
has
where?
pictures from R.I.P.D.
Oh, is there R.I.P.D. business in there? Is that in Volume 1 or Volume
and
2?
Seabiscuit. Oh boy. Hang on.
Wait, where are you? Guide me.
Yeah, take me on
I'm
a
in
journey.
photography.
Volume 2, and just
Volume
keep scrolling.
2. Okay. You can buy the book. I think I probably will. Oh, there's some for Bad Times at the El Royale. There's exactly 2 business pictures from Iron Man, a thing I'm very excited about, one of which has a terrifying doll head.
You know what, guys? He's not a very good photographer. These aren't very good. I appreciate that he's shooting on wide format film, but these are not very good.
I got to know what Sleep Club is.
Oh, boy.
It's wild.
What am I looking at?
Click
Sleep
below.
Club.
What?
Sleep Awake. Oh, Jeff. Jeffy boy. What is this? It's an 11-part docuseries. Oh, follow along through this 11-part short docuseries as Jeff embarks on a sometimes tempestuous journey to perform his sleeping tapes at the live at the Bowl. Jeff
Where's the
Bridges!
bowl?
What bowl?
Jeff Bridges, you beautiful boy. You beautiful, beautiful
you
man.
little son of a bitch, Jeff.
Guys.
Oh,
Aw. DreamingWithJeff.com got taken down.
that is sad.
That's so sad.
Oh man, Jeff
Oh.
Bridges. What are the chances that he comes on this podcast? Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Is
oh,
there
boy.
a contact? There's no contact.
No.
Can I
there's
just guys, I
there's
think I could
press.
just download his album right now. Holy crap. I did. Adding it to my library. Okay. Oh boy. I think we found our funny, but we lost the plot a little bit.
We found our funny, but we lost the point of doing this podcast.
At what cost?
Guys, this is the second time this podcast we have lost the plot, and the first time was right when we started it.
Okay, I got something that'll bring us back. I'm gonna give us Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Give us the kick. Do you guys? This is a movie. I don't know if you picked up on this. This is a movie that could not think of a better name for their antagonists than Deados. That's what they have. It's not
Yeah,
short
I forgot
for
about
anything.
Deados.
It's not short for like Deado Lights or anything. It's just Deados.
Can we role play really quick the boardroom meeting that created the nickname Deados in the universe of R.I.P.D.?
Yeah, sure. I don't see why not.
So you two are arguing about what you think the name should be, and I'm gonna rush in with my wild idea because I'm a
Okay.
newcomer to this job. Okay.
Well, now you
Go
know
ahead.
that I think that they should be
I
called
think the
evil
name should be
stab
Escaped
men.
Souls.
Oh, see, I think that's dumb, Mr. Stawn, pre-Stawn. I think that they should be called Crazy Heads because they're crazy looking, and some of them have a whole bunch of arms.
Whoa.
Oh,
Those are all
sir,
my papers falling to the ground.
this is a meeting. This is a private meeting that you are not allowed in,
This is
actually.
a closed meeting.
Yeah.
sir.
I know,
Sir,
but it came to
think
me in a
that we
dream.
should call them,
My name is
wackadoodles.
Dawn.
Yeah,
Post Dawn.
No, I don't.
I'm Priest Dawn's brother. Post
No,
Dawn.
I don't want to hear your
And-
shit
and
because
I
this is
have
a
it.
meeting. This is Mr. Dawn. This is a meeting of the Eternals. This is we got the
Please.
one we got
Please,
Camille
just give me a chance.
Nanjiani. We have Camille Nanjiani and literally anyone else in that movie.
Cannot name a single one.
There was
The one who's
Brian-
Wonder Woman.
Eternal Affairer number 2.
Brian Tyree
That's
Henry
the
was
speedy
one of
guy.
them. I think he played Fastos.
But you can call me Josh.
You could call me
Please,
Josh.
just give me a chance. Give me a chance. I'm brand new here, but I know that I know that my idea can be worth it. I think I
Okay,
can bring
look.
you
You
out
have
to this
12
company.
seconds before we kick you back out the other anus that sends you into hell.
Yeah.
Okay. I think because they're dead, we should call them deados. Because it kind of sounds like an ethnic slur, and I want to dehumanize these living souls.
Let's get him to hell. Let's take him that friend to hell. And you know what? You know what? While we're at it, I think we can take we could just take the rest of the Eternals probably to hell. I think, right? Like we're cool with that. Is that okay?
Is this a promotion for me? Am I an Eternal now?
You're an Eternal, but one of the hell ones.
Ah, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
And
Yeah.
Etern hell, if you will.
Ah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much for playing in the space with me.
I love how much of this is gonna get cut. I really do.
So I think
Guys,
really
we've been going for 50 minutes, and there's probably about 13 and a half business seconds worth of content.
Yeah. And it's all jam sesh related for sure, right, Preston? It's all jam sesh.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of laughing in there that I think is really just what the people want, you know?
Hey, it's fun to hear people laugh.
Yeah.
Let me go through my notes again and see what I remember about this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, other stuff happens, but you know what this movie is. Like, there's a big, dumb final battle, and none of it means anything.
A blue beam gets sent into the sky. Oh, I want to talk about the MacGuffin.
Okay.
Because it seems like the whole time, the MacGuffin is like a large dinner plate. Like a plate at a Mexican restaurant is like the size that it's giving with like the roundness of the corners.
And
then
not
they
a
set
white
this
people
whole-
Mexican restaurant. Like a real deal.
Like a real deal. This is not a Taco Bell affair.
No,
This is like a home. This is like a locally owned and operated Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, this isn't
That's the size of
hacienda
plates we're
Mexican
talking
food
about.
with altitude. This is real good food.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying.
That's a really
But-
deep cut Colorado reference.
But this is. So you think that's about the size of the MacGuffin, and then they bring the bomb to the bad plate, to the good place, I mean, and they explode it, and then they reassemble it, and it's like this whole ass satellite that's like the size of a car.
Yeah.
And like, where did all these pieces come from? Where'd you get these pieces?
Well, there's a lot of crooked cops that were all stealing little bits of gold throughout the film.
In the background that we didn't see.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't see, just pocketing the gold left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
it's a good
appreciate
question.
also that it's called the Staff of Jericho.
That's
even
what
though
I was gonna
There's
talk
nothing
about.
staff about it. It's just an obelisk.
There's nothing staff about it.
And
There's
also
also nothing
nothing
Jericho,
Jericho
about it. Like, what does that
No.
mean?
It's like if Keanu
Whoever
Reeves
came
pulled the
up with
crucifix
Deado
shotgun.
also was in charge of naming the MacGuffin.
It's like,
They
yeah.
said, "Hey, you named the Deados. Well, what else you got? We got to name the MacGuffin." And he was like,
He's like, the staff
like
of
snorts and
Jericho.
human Staff of Jericho."
Yeah, like, how did
And there
we
you
go?
go.
It'd be
Became
like
the
if
staff
someone
of
handed you
Jericho.
a book and said, "This is the chips of basil." You're like, "What?"
You're like, okay. Like, yeah, like, how did we go from a story where people walk around a city and until it crumbles as a sign of promises from God, and they were like, you know what that sounds like? A tiny little tower with an X in it that sends people from hell to here. Staff of Jericho, baby. Like, what?
Staff of Jericho.
They didn't
And the
even
walls
try.
came tumbling down.
There was never a
Oh,
point.
it's the walls between heaven and earth. And
No,
hell.
hell no. No, there was never a point where they even try to make that make sense.
I gotta admit though, the afterlife run by a bored bureaucracy is a vibe that I'm always on board with.
Yeah, you
I
can't
think
go
it's
wrong.
so fun.
So much of this movie works so well. and so much of it, I'll give you, does not. But like a lot of this movie is very
not.
fun.
The bit that they do where there's like the gold pipe running up to the Eternal Affairs, and then there's like a big rattling, and then it's like a giant can
It's
with
a
like
huge
massive,
canister.
like, telex.
Yes.
That Proctor has to like rotate through.
Yeah,
Such a good bit.
when she gets a
So
fax with like graphics of people falling from hell.
But the framing goes against that so much. The framing has nothing to say about it.
It's true.
It's not going to focus on the graphics. The graphics are just these like nondescript objects in the background. And if the movie realized that it was funny, that's the thing. I don't think the movie knows that it's as funny as it is.
I don't think it does.
They think it's funny, but not on the level that it actually is funny.
Or like the whole bit where they're like in like the filing cabinet room, and there's like a massive drawer of a filing cabinet.
Uh-huh.
That, I mean, they could have easily walked in there and said, "Oh, well, let's go looking for a file," and then just like, and it just like keeps going and going and going.
They like kind of just declare in the script that Jeff Bridges is a cowboy from a different era and time, but it never, besides the latent racism, it never seems to affect how he talks or lives his life or acts or anything.
Nor the way
it,
he does
has no
law.
bearing on the plot. Yeah.
Which is sad, because that's what I want from this movie. Like you're saying, I want that clash of genre.
Yeah.
I want it to be modern cop, old cop, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And there's never any point, except for a brief moment of, let me teach you about some Old West gunfighting. There's never a moment where it matters that they're from two different eras.
There should have been a whip pan to him, and it should have gone whoosh.
Yes.
And it should, every scene with him by himself should have been framed like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah,
like, there should have been standoffs, and there should have been bar fights, and there should have been like, they should have each tried their own ways and seen which one worked the best, where he did it like a modern cop and they shot it like NCIS, and then it hits him and they shoot it like a spaghetti western from the 70s.
Yeah,
it would have been so fun.
This should have been the ultimate maximalist cinema. Like, this should be a movie that is just fries your brain.
But it doesn't.
No, it is.
It
a
just
good
kind of
time,
lightly
though.
boils your brain.
And I don't mind my brain being boiled ever so slightly.
I don't mind a good brain boiling. Good brain boiling's good for the soul.
Hey, you put your
What's
tablecloth
good for the
out.
boil is good for the brain.
You throw it all down. It's a brain boil. Come on down. You put it all in a pot. It's a brain boil. You guys ever go to a seafood boil? Those are fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
But let's keep talking about that.
I would love more of these.
Guys.
I want there to be more of these movies. I need an R.I.P.D.C.U. That's important to me.
There is an R.I.P.D. too.
There is an R.I.P.D. too.
Oh no.
You're not wrong.
Is that what
I'll never tell.
I think are we at the stage of the podcast where we talk about why we were made to watch this?
Yeah, do you have a guess, Lincoln?
No, I have something else I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
There is a one-liner in this movie that is delivered 3 times,
Oh?
and it gets worse and worse every single time.
I genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Lincoln,
excited.
to you? It consists of 2 words. Relax body.
Oh, it is bad every single time, isn't it?
It is so bad. Like, it is like, there's like one-liners like should be like a little bit bad and a little bit corny. And then there's like bad one-liners. And then there's this one that is so unbelievably bad. And they say it 3 times.
Well, this
hoping that
one-
it'll be funny each
This,
time.
this one's a special kind of evil, because the first time with Jeff Bridges riding Ryan Reynolds out of a window and just screaming "relax body," it is kind of funny. And then after that, every time after that, it's like trying to call back to the good old days, and it's not good. It's not good. It's old. I don't like it.
Really what it was is they said it the first time and the director was like, oh man, guys, that was such a great bit. You know what? Let's improvise here. I want you to say it again. And then the second time they're like, oh, okay, fine. Relax body. And then the third time, he's like, all right, that was even better the second time. This time, I want you both to say it together. I want you to look at each other in the eyes. We'll have a great little buddy cop moment. And then they look at each other and absolutely mail it in. On an entire movie of them mailing it in.
This movie does feel like it was written by somebody.
Preston.
No, Lincoln, hold on. This movie feels like one that was made by somebody who says, all right, I liked that line. Let's improvise, and I want you to improvise this new line. Like, pretend like you thought of this line.
Preston, did you say mailing it in? Is that like one step removed from phoning it in? It's like the next level away.
Yes.
One more level detached from phoning it in is mailing it in.
Yeah, and one level after that is schedule sending an email.
One level after that is leaving a smoke signal.
And a level after that, it's just whispering into the wind.
Carrier pigeon and then smoke signal.
And the level after that is Skype. So what do you think was the reason that Preston made us watch this movie? Because for me, I think it's yucky CGI that you know I love. I think it's that gross, weird, just icky, bouncy boys bouncing around town.
Just realistic enough to activate your gross reflex.
Yeah,
your
it's like
disgust response.
Especially like where they like open the portal and like all of the dead
yeah,
falling.
just a big
bad.
sloshy, uncanny valley river.
Of human bodies. It is so
Human
disconcerting.
flesh.
It is
I
so
love it.
off-putting.
It's the best. The second that the thing got reversed and they all got sucked back in, my wife literally cheered. She got so excited that all the weird, gross bodies were leaving the screen.
Oh, that was rough. Oh boy. The reason I think, I said it before, but I think it's Jeff Bridges basically agreeing to do the role as long as he received exactly 0 notes and could 100% dictate everything that he did and said in the movie.
Yeah, and do it in an afternoon.
And I gotta say, I think his writing and improvisational skills are not much better than his photography skills. And yes, I think the fact that Jeff Bridges shot this whole movie over the course of like 4 hours is the other reason.
Oh, one more thought, just because it's interesting to me. Did you guys notice that the Deados act and talk like an NPC in a video game?
Yes, they have catchphrases that they say, and I imagine that getting like subtitled
Yeah.
when you hear them, and then it goes "ba-ding," and then you have to turn and find where they are.
Yeah, and it's like every time they're like, "Oh, I lost him. I don't know. Maybe it was nothing," and then they just shuffle off.
Like a stealth game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And then you have to activate like soul search mode, where you find the soul stank, and it's a green trail in the air that you have to follow.
I would play the R.I.P.D. game. I'm not going to lie to you.
There is an R.I.P.D. game. It came out for the Xbox 360.
Is there actually? I would play it.
Yeah, maybe that's bonus content for if we ever have listeners.
That'd be so good.
Preston, what was the reason?
You know, the real reason that I made you guys watch this is at some point in my younger years, I saw on YouTube the clip of like the Old West gunfighting scene, and I was like, "Oh, that's a sick scene. I want to watch this movie." And then finally watching the movie a few years later, being like, "Oh, this is dog shit." And then seeing it come back up, being reminded of that experience, and figuring that this would be a solid movie to watch, and I feel like I delivered on that.
Crushed it.
I
You
think
found
you did.
the vibe
I very
is here.
much think you did.
This is stanky in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, you match the energy for this podcast exactly right. It's a movie with tons of good ideas and can never seem to quite like get them all to work at the same time.
It cannot get a hand
It's
on
a
the ball.
movie with talented actors that are phoning it in. It's a movie with untalented actors that are putting their life into it. It's a solid movie. It's a movie where people change accents back and forth.
Oh, you guys, we were so close.
Hold on, I just lost signal. I can't see anything right now.
Oh, that's sad. We were so close to having a whole episode where this didn't happen.
By Lincoln.
Oh, Preston, can you hear me?
Oh, he's back.
I'm back.
Oh,
I'm finally
I can hear
back.
John.
We almost
I
had
could
an
always hear John.
episode.
I couldn't hear Lincoln for a moment.
Sorry. Guess what? Tomorrow morning I'm cutting a hole in the ceiling and dropping Ethernet down to this room so that I can have clean signal.
But what will we do without our classic segment, Lincoln falls out of the podcast and off the face of the planet for about 2.5 minutes?
We'll have to find a way. We'll have to write a way around it. Ask
Okay.
Jeff Bridges. He's really good at improvisation.
That man can make it happen. He'll say something about relaxed body. This movie is the cinematic equivalent of a 12-year-old trying to convince you that it's old enough to watch Alien.
This is cinematic equivalent of going to a Taco Bell at 1:30 in the morning and drinking a mix of every Baja Blast at once.
It is. It is. That does sound like something I would like.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of having to listen to a 12-year-old with ADHD try to explain Men in Black movies.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of just the last Men in Black movie, the bad one. You know, the one we didn't like with Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, that one. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
It's a cinematic equivalent of cinema. This bad movie this bad Men in Black ripoff is just like that other bad Men in Black ripoff. It is such a similar experience.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of a movie that you'd watch and think, man, I should watch that for my podcast where we watch bad movies that aren't any good.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of forcing your friends to watch a really dumb movie for retribution.
This is the cinematic equivalent of being at the grocery store and watching someone walk up to the eggs and take a single egg out of a carton, bite it inside their mouth, and spit it back into the container and put it back on the shelf.
And then they're disappointed that it tasted like an egg.
Yeah. They're like, oh, this tasted really slimy and raw.
Yeah, they're like, ew, that was kind of gross.
This is cinematic. Okay, this is another drinks-related one, but this is very good. So cut out the Baja Blast one if you wish.
I wish not to.
But
I'll never cut out Baja Blast.
This is the cinematic equivalent to when you've drinking 98% of a soda and your straw's kind of scraping against the bottom of the cup trying to find the last droplets, and it's making that horrible, like, noise. That's what this movie's like.
I also kind of think this is the cinematic equivalent of just drinking your favorite drink out of a very bad old paper straw.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of eating a meal that you really like, and so you ask for seconds, but then you can't quite finish the seconds, but you don't want to be rude, so you have to keep eating.
Oh, yeah, but it's just the seconds bit. You forgot the first meal.
This is a cinematic equivalent of an oscillating fan, and it's like really hot outside, and you need this fan, but 4 other people need it, and so you only get it once about every 10 seconds. But boy, that 1/2 of 1 second is just so nice, and then it rotates back away again.
I almost kind of want to leave it at this is the cinematic equivalent of an oscillating fan. I think that's perfect.
I think that could be in the description.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
John.
Yeah.
Give me the bad news.
I think you know the bad news, Lincoln.
I think I know the bad news. I think I know it.
I think you got a hint on what the bad news might be, my man.
I think I know what the bad news might be. I think I'm watching 2 R.I.P.D.
2R2I 2P2D Rise of the Damned. The direct
Is that really what we're watching?
Yeah, we're watching R.I.P. It's an R.I.P.D.D.B.P.R.D. R.I.P.D. double feature. We're watching Rest in Peace Department 2 Rise of the Damned. It's a direct to streaming sequel, prequel with the number 2 in front of it about, I believe, Jeff Bridges' character, but before he was Jeff Bridges, and I assume fun and interesting to watch.
Oh no.
Haven't seen it, can't wait.
Oh no.
I don't think I'm gonna, just in spirit of continuing with the RIPD feeling, I don't think I'm gonna give you homework. I think just live in the space. Although if you want,
Thank you so much.
If you feel like a little extra credit, you are more than welcome to kind of look into if they ever did any promotional material for RIPD2 Rise of the Damned. You're welcome to bring something to the table if you want us to watch something. I might take a peek around, just take a little poke, see if there was some kind of interview or anything, but we'll see.
Oh boy, John, I'm feeling the punishment right now because I just sat through R.I.P.D.
I know, and now you get to sit through worse, cheaper RIPD.
Okay.
I feel like this is fair though, because it's a punishment to myself because I liked RIPD, and I do not feel in my heart that I'm gonna like this one.
This movie's
must
gonna
agree.
spoil the first one for you.
Yeah, it might.
Oh boy.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour. You can email us at mprphpodcast@gmail.com. Let's see if we have any emails. Drum roll, please. We don't, so that's exciting. Yeah, there's none, but woo, what a good time.
Woo. If you email us, you'll get on the podcast.
100%. Yeah.
Tell other people about the show.
Yeah. We have.
If you like it, tell people about it. It's fun.
We got 5 big old ratings on Spotify. We're at 5 stars. Big day for us. So yeah, please.
That's amazing.
Tell other people about the show. Probably not your grandparents. Certainly not my grandparents. And I think that
tell your enemies about the show.
Yeah, sure, that works. Tell your enemies about the show. Share it. Whatever. And rate it if you haven't. I think that's everything. That would make me Brother John, and just as we live by the rules of Dinotopia, so must we be prepared to die, baby.
I have been Brother Lincoln. I could crash you from here, man. I just rewatched that scene.
Of course you did. And I have been Brother Preston, relax body.
Yeah, the piss man himself.
Peabody.
No.